G'day, what's happening, you legends? I'm going to shut the window because I feel a bit insecure, people hearing that. Don't want the neighbours hearing what type of shit I talk. I present myself as an upstanding citizen. All right, let's do it again. G'day, you legends. Welcome to Monday Motorsport with Mez, or Motorsport on Mondays with Mez, or Mez on a Monday talking motorsport. Don't know yet. I'm absolutely winging this here, so yeah, come along for the journey. Let me know if you find it shit, or if you're like, that's pretty good viewing. Let us know. Yeah, so I did sort of allude to this in the 15-year podcast that it was something I want to do, just sort of recap motorsport on a Monday, and yeah, just talk the shit. Most recent event was Halfway Hangs. Now, if you don't know, I've refreshed the Sylvia, which I would find very weird that you're watching this podcast and not know that I refreshed the Sylvia, because why else would you be watching? But yeah, we refreshed it, and boy, does it look fucking sick. I'm so chuffed on it. The general vibe was I was going for a 60s race car spec with the sign writing that Alex Bradgick did. Just because, yeah, it's kind of... I mean, you guys know me. I fucking love motorsport and I love history, old school stuff. So, yeah, bringing that back. And Alex is a super talented sign writer. So, cool to get him to jump on board. He travelled all the way up from Sydney a couple weekends before Halfway to do the car at the Nicole Boys Workshop, which was super cool. The bonnet was hand-painted by Sam Yong. Now, I do keep saying hand-painted, but... And there's a lot of yous joking like, oh, nice rap, because I've said hand-painted so much. But I do need to get it out there. Like, I did have a lot of people that were genuinely going, oh, cool rap, dude. Like, and I get it. I mean, why most people would have just rapped that. But that's hand-painted, baby. That's a work of art. So, shout-outs to Sam Yong there. He's an old 8.6 head. So, yeah, super stoked on it. Super chuffed. And finally, cool to rock up to Halfway Hangs with a car that's sort of fits in a bit, It's played the part. Normally, I'm a driver. I like focusing on the driving, but yeah, the Sylvia did need a little slight refresh, and yeah, why not? So, super pumped on that. Halfway Hangs itself, the event, super awesome as always. A little bit tamer from my side. I'm not sure if anyone else felt that. I saw a few videos and a few sore heads Saturday afternoon, so... A lot of yous were sending it, but yeah, from my angle, we kept it pretty tame, which was good, because Saturday, if I had have had any bigger one, Friday night, Saturday would have been brutal. So, unloaded at the track, and Greenie was like, brother, your power steering pump's making a lot of noise. And I was like, oh, well, it's never been an issue before, and the fucking reservoir's full. And that's kind of how I approach most stuff. Went out first lap, and the power steering there was no power steering. So I did a few laps with that. Because I was like, oh, I'm a Corolla dude, I'll just drive no power steering. But it turns out, like, when they come with power steering and they don't have it, it fucking sucks. It's very hard. So I did a few laps, got a couple tandems in there that were pretty tight, but I spun out twice and it just wasn't coming back, obviously. Drove in, saw that the seal in the rack had blown out. Fucking met this bloke named Liam who lived 30 minutes down the road. He's like, I got a rack, let's go get it. Some other bruiser lent me his Mazda. So we went and got it. So big thanks to those boys. Big thanks to the boys that helped me get it in. Ben Werner, Stu, you guys did all the hard yards. And Greenie for making the smart play. Go, hey, do it in Matt's trailer where it's shady. So yeah, got back out about an hour and a half and we'd replace the rack, but we didn't replace the power steering pump, which Pecky offered us one. And I thought, oh yeah, that's going to be a smart idea. Go do that. Didn't do it. Got 2 hours of driving and then it went again. So I was fucking super infuriated. And it was just frustrating. It was frustrating because it was such a good prep leading up. It was one of the best preps I've ever done for a drift event. We had it down at Nicole Racing there. Had it on the hoist. Got it all sussed. The boys got it purring. I got an extra 40 horsepower. They just turned it up. Which, by the way, helps significantly. I was at 290 horsepower, so at 330 now. Even with the steering issues, I was like, far out. So, yeah, I came off track fucking infuriated. And I hate people that drive through pits like a wanker. Like, they just come in and they're speeding and they're doing all this and shit. Well, I was one of those wankers. Now, I'm going to extend the olive branch here just to sort of not crush my ego so much. I was fucking pissed off, and I feel like it was very obvious to anyone how pissed off I was. These other wankers, they're just coming in red hot because they think they're fucking the tits. Now, yeah, I just want to apologize for that. I'm like, that fucked me up for the next few days. I was like, fuck, you drove like a fuckwit through pits. So, but yeah, it was because after 2 hours the steering went again, and them's the brakes. But like I haven't had one day where it's just like the car's on song. I've just always made it make do, and then we get the car on song, and fucking a random steering fucking rack failure, steering pump, like it was a soul killer. It was a coach killer of the soul variety. It just fucking rocked me. So big sorry to everyone that I drove through in the pits like a wanker. But good news was Ben Loft and Matt Russell had a ripper time. It was Matt's first time at halfway hangs, so it was super cool to get him up there. Ben was ripping. He got most entertaining driver of the day, I think, which is fucking sick. He was. I got some footage there that our boy Monday Media he took, so we'll upload that later. And obviously Ben's on board as well. We'll get that going. So, but yeah, unreal to see. Super cool event, and super cool to see the younger crew coming through. So when Halfway Hangs first started, we were all young 20-year-olds rocking up to the Street Carnage Boys event like, hell yeah, this is sick. And now I go to the event and like, fuck, I'm like, who the fuck are half these people? Now that's not a bad thing. It's just like there's all these young people that are super stoked on it. So it's really cool to see. There is definitely a bit of changing of guard happening. And it's really cool to see all the young dudes like sort of flocking to like the media side and just sort of pushing their own sort of agenda. You got some people there loving the VHS and the film type stuff. Some other people doing the DSLR high quality crisp stuff. But just pushing their own stuff regardless, which is so sick. It does lead me to a point, and this isn't at anyone, this is just more a general point, because the more I watch drift videos and stuff. Guys, if you're filming drifting, and girls, whoever, that was just a general human statement. Humans, if you're filming drifting, show me the fucking drifting. I don't want to see the car exiting out, peeling smoke. I don't want to see him just entering and then I don't know if they fucking pulled off the entry or what. Show me the whole fucking thing. Now, I know a whole run is going to fuck with your flow on your montages. I get that. You got to change it. Preach, brother. But show me the whole entry. Like the flick, let him come in. Actually, I was like going to do it to you like that. Do it, flick, they're in, zoom in on the flick, and then they make it out. Show me they make it out. Otherwise, it's like the equivalent of showing a dude ollie a five stair, and as soon as he ollies, he's in the air, you cut to him rolling away. It's no good, no dice. Show drifting. So, but yeah, that had nothing to do with halfway hangs. It just sort of reminded me, like, here's what the people need to hear. Super cool. And like I said, so much media stuff coming out. Fucking absolutely livid. The car wasn't going great because I would have really loved more footage, especially in the refresh format. And just because the car was feeling so good, that it fucking eats me up inside when I know I could be driving better and putting on a display, but I don't have the car underneath me. And that happens quite a lot, and I laugh it off and this and that. But this halfway hangs, I was like, oh, we're prepped here. This car feels awesome. I've done everything right here. And yeah, so. But it just goes to show, because I'd set that standard in my head, like, oh, I'm going to have a great day here, best prep. That's why I got very emotional and pissed off. So, not at anyone. Just pissed off, and thus my behaviour isn't as nice as I'd like it to be. So yeah, but halfway hangs. Fuck yeah. Next event, I've just got to, DSLRs only have like a 12-minute record time, so I've got to get up and stop and start. So the first event for the year for me was Drift Fest. So that was a Keep It Reet Drift Fest down at Calder Park. It was a cool time. It was a great time. The event itself, not quite the crowd I would have expected, but then in hindsight, you're like, oh, it's Australia Day long weekend. Like a lot of people are going out with their families, have prior plans and whatnot. So I think that kind of did them a disservice. I thought, maybe they thought it might have gone a bit better being Australia Day long weekend, more people there. So I don't I don't know how they approached that or tackled that, but the event itself, fucking cool. I mean, you got all the Australian rippers taking on Jack Shanahan, Daigo Saito, Chris Forsberg. It's fucking rad. Jack Shanahan's a proper steerer. Wowie. So he was in Aaron's Lexus, borrowed Aaron's Lexus, which is a nice, tidy Lexus. Obviously set up enough to boogie, but it's not like some competition slayer. And Jack just, to get in a car you've never driven and then just go and chuck it on people's doors like that it's unreal. And just sort of speaking to him afterwards and even interviewing him in the post battles, you just get a real good vibe from him. So that was grouse. Daigo was in the pits sinking tall boy essays, which is always grouse to see. I still haven't got him to speak English to me. I know it's in there. I did ask if he wanted a beer in Japanese, but my Japanese is also terrible. I said something along the lines like, "Oh, Daigo-san biru wa ikagai desu ka?" Which I think the ikagai desu ka needs work. It needs work. But he hit me with the etto, which is Japanese for and then said something that I'm just going to assume was like, maybe later. But he did have a little chuckle. So that was cool. Chris Forsberg, he was a GC as well. Unfortunately, he stoved the GK Tech Z, but he admitted, he's like, I just stuffed up there. So that's always commendable. But it was cool to see Fink driving that GK Tech Z, actually. Just, fuck, he can steer, can't he? He can steer, can't he? He can really steer. So, yeah, that event overall was fucking really fun. So, I hope they do it again, and I hope everyone gets around, supports it. The whole Spotto and whatever that fucking thing, that scene is, obviously not for me. But I also interviewed Spotto, and I'm ignorant to the whole Spotto thing. I did some research, YouTuber and all that. But I was like, mate, like, you're performing at the gig later tonight. How you going? He goes, in that voice he does, which I try to imitate, but it's actually very hard to do that the whole time. I tried to do it on the interview, but I just ended up just going back to the normal bruiser slang. But yeah, I was like, you're performing on stage tonight, mate. You pumped. He goes, mate, this just started as a piss take, and now we're here running with it. So when people like that admit that, I'm like, because another part of me sees the shit they're doing, and I'm just like, how the fuck is that popular? How are we as a society supporting that? Now, I haven't watched any of his videos and stuff. I'm just talking purely from the raps and stuff he's performing on stage about stealing catalytic converters. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But he's obviously a bit of a funny dude and all that. So, yeah, that was cool. Any other funny stories? Embarrassed myself at the pub, but that's pretty standard stuff. All the Americans were around one of those punching knockout machines. And like Americans being Americans, they were loud and whoa, 3,000, 8,000. And I'd had a few beers, so I walked over like big, coming through, boys. Big bruiser coming through. And then Hurt topped up the credits and was like, yeah, he knew what was happening, and that was a white boy about to embarrass himself. So yeah, gave it a not a bad one, but yeah, the points didn't reflect that, and I was the lowest one for the night. So a slight bruise on the ego if you take that stuff seriously, but yeah, you get that. I think I know how to handle myself. We'll survive. I don't need a fake number provided by Arcade Machine. Let's talk technique. Who kept their hands up? Not me. But yeah, any other fun stories? Sam Yong, the dude that painted my bonnet. So that was funny. I found that hilarious. The boys didn't. Like not paying. Yeah, so that was funny. Actually, we'll edit that out. Yeah, anything else on Driftfest? No, not really. Like I said, it was great driving. There were some unreal battles there. It's quite funny in the after battle reports as well, while the judging decisions being made, like judges, drivers throwing in little quips there. Oh, well, like I just gave him space there because he cut the corner in front of me where he wasn't, stuff like that. So it's always good fun. Yeah, next event for me will be looking at. I got a big calendar. I'm getting organised this year. Drifting South Australia, March 15th. So that's the Drift Collective. We'll be there for that. That'll be ripper. That's going to be unreal. If you haven't heard, Drift Collective, it's Melbourne, South Australia, Tasmania. So Drift League, Drifting SA, and Keep It Reet. They're going to hold a national round each as such kind of thing, and then create that as a little championship, which Stewie and I have talked about it heaps. Brody, even Farron and I have talked about it heaps. Like, that is the only way to grow a national series in Australia, is to start out with states send their good drivers, and then you just build it slowly, like I was thinking the east coast of Australia, but South Australia to Victoria is like 6 hours. And then you just catch the boat to get to Tasmania, which, it's still a bit of legwork, but at least you're not trying to drive from, North Queensland down and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. All three of those event organisers have their good things in mind for Australian drifting. Each has their different approach. Everyone has I wouldn't do it. But all three of those bruisers want what's best for Australian drifting. So I'm really pumped to be a part of that. Matt Russell, he's heading to Adelaide Motorsport Festival. He'll be back. But yeah, that's it on that front. I suppose let's get to the more general thing, which is just drifting in general. Loving it. Loving that drift life. Here in Queensland, I don't know. I don't even pay attention to any of that shit anymore. I just go and drive what I want to drive. And try do things that I want to see in drifting. I think there's a lot of fucking tryhards in drifting, isn't there? There's a lot of people that think because of their, I don't know, they want to be known as the go-to person. Whereas I'm the opposite. I couldn't care less if I wasn't the person. If someone was out doing what I wanted, for instance, like event-wise, I'd just go and support that. I don't have to be the fucking man, but I don't know, there seems to be a lot of fucking people always trying to snipe each other and this and that, but that's just life in general, isn't it? That's just life in general. Everyone's got all their insecurities and everyone just needs to fucking face them. I'm sick of everyone putting on this act because they haven't fucking realized they're not that tough. They're just putting on this front because they're insecure, but they don't realize because they haven't looked at themselves introspectively yet. I'm just over that. I'm over, just dealing with people's insecurities. Like fucking the other day, I jibed back at Kyle, and I was like, straight away, I was like, oh, I must have been very insecure about that. Fucking whatever he said. I actually forget it wasn't that fucking. But but instead, people go the opposite, and they're like, no, fuck that. Those people that share Batman and the Joker, and there's those memes and it'll be like the Joker's face and it'll be like loyalty. Like, you don't want, I may be loyal, but I'm a dangerous man to get off. So, shit like that, School of Hard Knocks type stuff. Can everyone just fuck that off out of their systems? Just fuck it off. The best mover and groover in life, the thing that's going to project you forward, it's not sucking off the people that are famous as dick. It's not fucking finding, Team Animal style and sucking their dick or, pretending you're Japanese and fucking everything's Japanese and sucking that dick. It's just facing your own fucking insecurities. That's all it is. And then once you love yourself, figure that out, away you go. You take on the world and the world's your oyster. Now, that's a fucking journey. That's a progress. That doesn't take months. It takes years. But everyone's got to start. And once you start, you get going. Once you get going, you get flowing. Once you get flowing, you get moving. Once you get moving, you're grooving. And when you're grooving, everyone else is grooving. Everyone wants to gravitate towards you and all that. So I don't know how the fuck we ended up here, but let's get into some motorsport, eh? All right, extracurricular motorsport. It has started. A couple rounds of NASCAR already been. Supercars start on the weekend. Formula One liveries are being revealed. Cool. It's cool stuff. Obviously, NASCAR, I'm a lot more interested now because SVG's over there, and yeah, they've been wrecking him, but it's really cool to see him going well. He's an absolute weapon. He's a proper steerer. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Oh, he bumped and runs. Oh, fucking grub. Anyone that says grub, like, grow up. Grow up. Like, anyone that's, like, physically commenting, like, yeah, he's a grub on fucking a social media post, and you don't know that person, grow up. Grow up. And then fucking take it for what it is. I'm sick of fucking one-eyed fucking supporters. Anywho. So NASCAR just went. Yeah, that's fucking exciting. Last year was an exciting stuff to watch. Like, that was the first time I really sort of clued in on most of the season. So if you haven't watched NASCAR before, get amongst that. But yeah, the season's just started. There's not even much to dip your toes in, really. Supercars. Yeah, the season started. I don't know why, but I don't feel the same amount of, like, hype that should be relevant for a supercar series, but I don't actually have the solution or pinpoint why I feel that way. You know, it's like supercars are on social media posting all the stuff to get everyone excited for the season, but maybe it's the way they're doing it. I don't know. But the actual event itself, Saturday's race, I was able to watch, and that was a pretty rip tearer. 15 laps to go. Cam Waters comes in, pit stops. He's like 8 seconds down or whatever. Feeney's in the lead, and then it's Brown, and then Mostert. Waters just had pace for days, so got Brown and Mostert quite easily. And then when he got to Feeney, well, yeah, if you don't know what happened, they get into one another. Cam sent it up the inside, got into Feeney. Feeney got half turned. Cam waited for Feeney and readdressed, but then by then Will Brown's in the mix, so then Cam craftily is like blocking to let Feeney go through, but not Will. Like, it's very hectic stuff. I'm all for the argy-bargy style of racing. Not fucking anything stupid. Cam Waters obviously, like, just stoved Brock. The readdress, I'm a bit weird about it, if I'm honest. Like, I like that it doesn't get... Everyone hates, 15-second penalty, because it's just like, there goes that race. You know, like that dude that's just there now, he's effectively 15 seconds behind. But the way that it was readdressed, which obviously in Cam's shoes, you're not going to fucking just sit there like a person that doesn't know how to merge on the M1 and just be like, oh, no, you go, Brock. Oh, shit, Brown's coming. Like, so he's got to be crafty about it too, but I just don't feel like, it's like you get taken out and then it's like, it's a 3/4, what would you call that? Replenish. So say you're at 100%, you get stoved 0%, and then you try reset back where you were. You're like 3/4 of the way reset because it's never going to be the same. And then, yeah, I'm like thinking out loud here now. But does that make sense? Like the way Waters hands it back, he can fucking, yeah, get it done. Whereas if, say he goes for that move and Feeney, you know, gets around, they both get around, there's a little bit of contact, then that's brought Brown back into play. But, I mean, in saying all of that, Waters' pace absolutely shat on all of them. So he was getting it done no matter what, I think, despite all that. So, yeah, that was pretty exciting. Still a fair bit of time discrepancy for it to be super, super close. But, I mean, fuck, that finish was... How exciting was that? That was unreal. Very cool. Cool to see Kostecki in DJR getting it done as well. Yeah, Kostecki's a weapon. So, I don't know, just, yeah, little loose, little timid tip of the toes into supercars there. So, Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. I'm excited for it. I know everyone's like, fucking supercars, yeah. But fuck, it's really the only Australian motorsport that's so nationalised like that you watch. You know, like I tune in for TA2 and Trans Am and all that, but it's all like high tech and, you know, like it's not mainstream. That's what I'm getting at. It's not mainstream. But yes, that stuff's exciting. Formula One coming up. That will be cool. Obviously, being Australian, Oscar Piastri represent. Cool to see Liam Lawson go as well. I fucking hate all the shit you see on social media. Like, oh, Lawson, fuck Lawson, yeah. Or fuck Verstappen, yeah. Like, or like anyone that calls Lewis Hamilton Lulu, you're a fucking dweeb. You're a fucking dweeb and you've probably never fucking apexed a corner in your life. You know? You're the type of fucking punter that fucking merges 20 Ks under the speed limit, you know? But then you expect the drivers as well not to swear when they're like fucking going 300 Ks side by side next to one another. Like, it's just gimp shit on the comment section, isn't it? Gimp shit. But I'm super excited to see that. Lawson, hopefully Red Bull have learned their lessons. He's not going to be on the same pace as Verstappen, but he's definitely a way better choice than Tsunoda. If you're there going, oh, they should have chose Tsunoda because Tsunoda was better last season. Fucking the dude's been there for 5 years, brother. Lawson just comes in and gets it done. Like, and it was the same thing as Nick De Vries. Like, he had his number. Like, if you haven't figured out the fucking musical chairs that gets played in Formula One, i.e. a sponsor sponsoring that and then them having an invested interest in what driver gets there, i.e. a Japanese driver for a Japanese engine manufacturer, like, come on, people. Use your noggin. Like, these 20 people that are there are not even the 20 best drivers in the world. We're never going to fucking figure that out or know, because of the way motorsport is now is so money dependent that some of these best drivers are never even going to have the chance. But let's call a spade, you know. You can see what drivers are in there. You can see what drivers are good. You can see what drivers are fucking unreal. And Max, unreal. Lewis, at times, he's unreal. But the way he goes about his business is what turns me off. You know, I'm much more aligned with Max because it's just very direct, yada yada. Where I know other people think, oh, you're an asshole, but I don't know. I'd much rather someone fucking tell it to my face how they feel and how they see it than sucking me off pretending, because you can know, you can tell every day of the week. So yeah, super excited about that. That will be grouse. Kelly Rovanpera, WRC, back for a full season. Yeah. Or was that last season he was fully back? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm excited. That's pretty much it on the motorsport crescendo. Love many, trust few, pay your own canoe. Thanks for coming.
Because real bad boys move in silence.